What's good, everybody? Oh, look at the team. Look at the team. Welcome into Early Edge Live. We're here every single night that there's a big event without fail, and I brought my rock stars tonight for the next hour all the way up to almost to the start of the game. We've got sides, we've got totals, we've got props. So let me introduce the stars of the show. Right below me, another 4-1 day right here on the Early Edge. The last 2 weeks, 8-2. Not a math major, but prop stars, Alex, I think that's pretty good. Welcome back to the show.
What's up, Coach AB? See ya. Nice to see you guys. It's Monday night. I'm stoked. It's a weird game, but it's in the Pacific Northwest. I can attest. We've got some crazy weather going on right now. It's windy as heck. It's raining. It's going to be wild.
Yeah, all that rain has moved all the way down the West Coast because it just got to me in my gated community here in Orange County, Southern California. Because, yes, I know I live a little different than regular people. I was just accused of that on social media, by the way, because they're defending the man right next to me. We call him AB. Alan Bell, what's good?
Hey, what's up? What's up? Yeah, I just want to know, are you sure there's not going to be any AB pumpkins on your porch this Halloween?
We're going to get to that. We're going to get to that. Mike in the chat says, my wife asked me if I'm listening to Juicy Action Guys. Sia, are you a Juicy Action guy?
I might be, but I'm not sure. And let me just say, they said it would never happen, but here we are tonight. We've got the matchup we've all been waiting for, Geno Smith versus Jameis Winston. Let's go.
I've never had a better tease than that. But there's something I got. We're going to start the show a little differently today because, and I'm going to, all the kidding aside, I can't even stop laughing when I say it. All the kidding aside, when we started the show last December, the whole thing we wanted to accomplish was for all of you at home to feel like you were part of us. For all of you at home to know that you were part of us. And I got to tell you, the last 24 hours, I have been blown away by your commitment to our show, by your support of our show. And two of you need to be singled out right here on the show at the start of the show for putting in the effort, for putting in the time. First and foremost, my man on the right says, Coach, I'm buying an Early Edge shirt. I said, post a picture. I'll put it on the show. There it is, and it looks beautiful. Then my girl, Kelsey, she's here for every single show in the chat without fail. We asked her last night, make a pumpkin with AB's face on it. So she gave it her best shot, and there it is right there. But to me, it's not about the pumpkin. It's about the effort and being part of the community. So thank you from the bottom of my heart and on behalf of the entire team at SportsLine and the Early Edge. We could not be more thankful. Now, with the good stuff out of the way, let's have some fun. Because AB, I put it out on Twitter a little while ago, and I said, tell me who the pumpkin actually looks like. Funniest answers will get read on the show. If you all have something, put it in the chat. Who does a pumpkin actually look like? My favorite so far is a guy said that AB and Joan Rivers had a baby. AB and Joan Rivers had a baby. I've got Jabba the Hutt. I've got Big Ed from 90 Day Fiancé, which is one of my favorite shows.
Solid.
Yeah, the Flex Seal guy.
Nice.
Guy? Pretty good. All right, so keep those coming. Put them in the comment section. Don't forget, put in your Twitter handle as well, because tonight, Jiller, throw it up there. What are we doing as far as giveaways tonight? I think we're going to do 500 likes. We'll get, I don't know, how about 5 year-long memberships to SportsLine? How about 1,000? And we're going to give away an Early Edge t-shirt. 1,200? Let's bring it back out and show prop stars real quick. And we've got the very elusive Coach action figure right there. Right there. Now, the last time we gave this away, it only took us 2 nights to get to 1,200 likes. Can we do it tonight? And by the way, the Early Edge t-shirt, got it right there, baby. I got it right there. We're going to give this away if we get to 1,000 likes tonight. I didn't want to wear it because I wanted to be fresh for you at home. I just wanted to send it to you. Crisp. All right, with all the housekeeping out of the way, damn, I'm ready to have some fun tonight. Here's what we're looking at. Saints on the road in Seattle. Now, the number surprises me just a little bit. It has risen to 5.5 with the Fighting Jameis Winstons going into Seattle, favored by nearly a touchdown. Let's talk about this before we get into our picks. AB, let's start with you. Are you surprised at this number?
Yeah, a little bit. I don't understand the confidence really on either side, right? Like I didn't see this number creeping up right before the game tonight. So a little surprised by that. Yeah, I mean, the Saints are a solid team overall. They're not that great. I'm a little surprised by it. Yeah.
Okay. David, I see you. Erica, Chad, Alan, D. Lloyd, Alan, all you in the chat. Erica, keep it going. We've got 2 Ericas tonight. Now, Sia, you're always kind of my voice of reason on Monday nights. You're kind of the one I can come to, and I know I'm going to get a solid analysis. Are you surprised by the number?
A little bit. If it had moved a half a point, like to 4.5, I would have been like, okay, that makes sense. The Saints are getting some guys back. The offensive line and defensive line at linebacker with Quan Alexander, Marcus Davenport. They're definitely getting bolstered, and they're coming off a bye week, and it's Geno Smith. So I get it, but to move this much is it's a little much for me. And honestly, I'm probably going to be on the other side of it because to me, we're getting to a territory at Seattle where it's just too many points to give up.
Whoa. So you were on the Saints at some point?
No, actually wasn't, but it wasn't a surefire bet for me either way. But now that I'm getting an additional 1.5 and maybe it clicks down to 5, maybe it clicks up to 6. Either way, I would probably take it. I will say this though. We saw it a little bit with last night's game with Jimmy Garoppolo and company, where granted, they were coming off a bye just like the Saints. And if you recall, those scripted plays, boy, did they look good. So I think it's very possible for the Saints to jump out to a lead here. Jameis Winston with the scripted plays with Sean Payton. They've had well over a week, 2 weeks to really prepare for this game specifically. So I think it really presents a good live bet opportunity. So if you're getting, for example, the Seahawks plus 5.5, well, what if the Saints march down and score a touchdown? And even if they don't, maybe they kick a field goal. And even if they punt, that line isn't going to move tremendously. So I think there's a really good, if you like Seattle, I think maybe you wait until after maybe the first drive, or at least the first time that Seattle or the Saints get the ball. And then you can probably have a better number there.
Boy, live betting is something. And I know we have a lot of new people that watch the show every single week. And for those of you who are new, it's really kind of the new sensation. But you've got to be really, really smart when you do it. Don't just blindly bet live because all of a sudden you're going to be like, what just happened? So you got to be smart. You got to listen to the experts. But it can be a very, very lucrative way to bet a game, as Sia just very eloquently told us. Now, from a props perspective, I know, Alex, you've been in the lab all day. You know about the rain, the weather. But we have 2 quarterbacks, and we know that, people love the quarterback props. Does the weather or the fact that both quarterbacks aren't exactly what you would call Tom Brady, does it affect how you look and handicap their props?
Yeah, it does. And all these things that you brought up, Coach, are factored into their numbers. We also got a little bit of a snapshot last night with the game in San Francisco, seeing that weather. We also saw numbers that were suppressed, lower than we're expecting. Same thing applies tonight. We have lower numbers. The numbers are built in the fact that there could be inclement weather. We're playing a backup quarterback, obviously. Yeah, so there's a lot of things that are factoring in to all these numbers that are definitely going to have a big influence on things.
Well, you told us last night, and you were dead on, because it got to a point at the end of the second quarter and into the second half where guys were just hoping to complete like 8-yard passes. It got to that point. However, we hit 2 plays last night on the Colts plus points, and then also AB, you were on the over last night. Now the total tonight, and I didn't write it down. Julia, real quick, what's the total sitting at right now? I know it's changed a couple of times. What is the total currently at Caesars?
41.5.
Thank you, 41.5. AB, you hit it last night. What's your gut telling you tonight?
Yeah, gut tells me tonight that this is going to be an uglier game, and surprisingly, it was pretty ugly there in the middle of it for the second quarter, third quarter, due to the weather. But I just don't think that you're going to have 2 offenses that are really moving the ball. Let's say, you look at these teams, all right, and the Saints, they've scored touchdowns on a league high 93% of their red zone drives this season, but they only average 2.8 red zone drives per game. Okay. Like there's so many different things and elements that are going on with these 2 teams in terms of just the red zone alone. Like the Saints, they've allowed touchdowns on only 36% of red zone drives, which is best in the NFL. But the Seahawks have scored on 75% of red zone drives in the NFL, which is 4th. There's so many different elements, and it's going to come down to literally the red zone, which is going to dictate who wins this game. I'm not going to say play the under, but I don't like the under or the over tonight. I just don't like it.
Let me give you a couple of nuggets, and then Alex, I'm coming straight to you because I know you've got something. The under for the Seahawks, 4-1-1. The under for the Saints, 3-2. So it does lean towards the under, but you bring up a good point. Alex, what do you got?
The Seahawks were having a lot of trouble sustaining drives when Russell Wilson and Chris Carson were both healthy and playing. They ranked near the bottom perennially and this year in time of possession. So, yeah, they were having trouble sustaining drives. Now, obviously, Geno Smith, we have a banged-up Alex Collins as their running back. So, yeah, it's definitely going to be a trying task for these Seahawks to score a lot of points. But there are some favorable things that I will bring up later that I think could benefit specific players on Seattle's offense.
Very good. Let's continue to hammer that like button. We got to get to 500. We'll give away 5-year-long subs to SportsLine. You know how lucrative that can be. See, let me come back to you. It's me, Mario, in the chat says, why does everyone like the Seahawks? And I think I got one name for you. I think the one name, he's 3-10-1 against the spread when favored by 3 points or more. 7-16-1 against the spread in his career as a favorite. And I'm talking about Jameis Winston. Do you agree with that assessment?
Yeah, I mean, okay, so here's the thing. People will look at this game and they'll be like, oh, well, naturally I'm going to bet against Geno Smith. And I get that, especially since the Saints defense is very formidable. But it is Jameis Winston on the other side of the ball. And it is that 12th man thing. You know, we're seeing it this year more than anything, especially the last few weeks. I'm noticing that home field advantage has been a really, really big deal. We saw it in almost every big game yesterday. You name it, Titans, KC, whatever game you want to pick. And I think that 12th man is going to come into play. And it's different when it's Tom Brady. You know, it's kind of like everybody's on the same page regardless. But Jameis Winston is a whole different ballgame. And I think he's going to be in an environment that he's very, very unaccustomed to, at least over the last, year and a half of playing. So I think it's going to be it's going to be trouble. And this is a lot of points. So I get it. I understand why people like the Saints and don't like the Seahawks. There's not a lot to like about the Seahawks, but I do like the home field advantage edge here. And I think the Saints do have some weaknesses. And Jameis Winston, to your point, Coach, is kind of at the top of that weaknesses list.
All right, very good. We're going to get into our sides here in just a second, but I got to read what Craig Wood wrote. He goes, AB looks like an adult that would work at a car wash run by high schoolers.
That's amazing.
Oh, my God. You guys are unbelievable. Go ahead,
chat,
AB.
I've been sitting here laughing. Like, you guys are probably seeing me. Like, the chat is killing me. It's hilarious. Like, that comment alone. Like, I wish I could frame that in my house. Like, it's hilarious.
Can we please keep bringing the looks like game, because it's just elite. No, Alan and I were having some fun on Twitter earlier today with paying homage to that. So just
what was your name, Sia? What did you have for that picture?
Actually, we were referencing another show. They didn't actually give us, me or Alan, any looks like. We were referencing another show that does the looks like game. And
okay.
But feel free, if people want to do that for me, I'm all for it.
Oh, don't give Kelsey a challenge. If you give Kelsey a challenge, she's going to step up every single time. So don't challenge Kelsey unless you want to see your face on a pumpkin. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. All right, it's time to hit our sides. Who do we like in the game tonight? And I know I can come to AB, and even if you don't have a side, you'll give me a reason for a side. It's at -5.5. Saints are favored. Talk to me.
Yep. Look, I don't have an official play on it, but I like the Saints here, and I'm going to tell you exactly why. You look at Jameis Winston, he has a higher completion percentage against zone this season against any other type of defense that he's faced. He's thrown 3 or more touchdowns, I believe, against that zone defense this year. And look, the Seahawks play zone on 80% of their defensive snaps, which is third most in the NFL. Jameis is going to get yardage. It just depends on how much the Saints offense really opens him up. It's strange that we have a veteran quarterback that the Saints might try to dial back, and we have a veteran, but a guy who doesn't play a lot in Geno Smith that they actually might push more to get the ball in the air. But I like the Saints here. I think just overall, they're just a much better team.
Okay, so here's the deal. I lost a SportsLine showdown bet to you on Sunday because I'm an idiot, and I backed the Chiefs, and we suck. However, if you're taking the Saints -5.5, I will take the Seahawks, and I will attempt to get my money back right here, right now. Are you in or are you out?
Jeweler, hit it.
It's gonna be a showdown.
Boom! I love it. We're gonna have a showdown. 5.5. Boom! Lock it in.
Love it.
Everybody knows I know AB's Venmo because I had to use it twice in the last 2 weeks. I suck. Now, Sia, I warned you. Sia.
I can't
Now,
wait.
my man Ryan says C is AB's manager at the Bass Pro Shop. But the one I like even more, D Fresh says Sia looks like the model they hire for all the stock photos. Like you see like J.C. Penney. You say,
Yes.
oh, come get your – that's who they say you. That is fantastic. All right, it's 5.5. Talk to me. See ya.
If you're asking me, yeah,
Yes,
I'm
asking you.
yeah, I like as the manager of Allen at the Bass Pro Shop. I really understand the Saints argument. Don't get me wrong. I feel like it's almost like a little too easy here. And with me getting just more and more value as this line ticks up, I'm willing to put my money on the 12th man and Geno Smith and these receivers. I mean, listen. The Saints are getting healthier. That makes me really nervous, and they're coming off a bye. I totally get it. But again, 5.5 points away is a lot of points. So I'm probably going to take the 5.5, but I'm really inclined to take that live bet because I think it's either going to be right in that 5.5 range in the first quarter or better in terms of the line for the Seattle Seahawks.
All right, very good. Alex, what do you got?
All conventional wisdom and logic points to New Orleans, points to the Saints, but getting this many points as a home dog, a team with nothing to lose with its backup quarterback, its season in the toilet if they don't win, I'll take that spot. I would back half your action in your showdown if you wanted me to, Coach.
There would be nothing I would like more than for you to take half my bet so we can play together and beat his ass right here on the show. So you're in. We're splitting it. Are you okay with that, AB? Can you send 2 payments out?
Yeah.
Is it 2 payments out?
Oh, yeah. I'm good with that. And I'll tell you this.
Yeah.
Give you a little nugget here. Every single time that Jameis Winston has ever played the Seattle Seahawks, he's had 2 touchdown passes.
So they're going to lose 34-14? Or, I mean, is that what you're saying? I mean,
No,
what does that do for me? That doesn't do anything to me.
It took me 91 minutes to find that stat, so I just had to work it in sometime, or I just wasted my time.
Yeah, I'm going to get this stuff in. I don't care. If it doesn't matter, I'm getting it in. Now, we're actually working on music for this, too. We haven't quite got it right yet, but it's now time for Alex's favorite part of the show. Now, it's time to prop it like it's hot, ladies and gentlemen. And for the next 20 minutes or so, we hit as many props as we possibly can get to. If you have one you want us to talk about, put it into the chat. Don't forget to throw in your Twitter handle because we are almost to 500 likes, and I'm prepared to give away 5-year-long memberships to SportsLine. So, Alex, I'm coming to you because I know that you've looked at something on the game tonight. Do you have any official plays as far as props are concerned?
I do have official play. It's SportsLine special. Giving it out right now to you guys live right here.
Whoa. This happens so fast. Let me get my book open. All right, now go ahead. All
right. We're going DK Metcalf over 57.5 receiving yards. DK has cleared this total in 5 of 6 games to start the season. His season low is just 53 receiving yards. He's actually had at least 58 receiving yards in both games with Geno Smith behind center. DK seems to be the only wide receiver on the Seahawks roster that Geno is actually comfortable throwing the ball to and has shown any real signs of chemistry with. I have him projected at 85 yards, which is just a huge edge. It was too big for me to ignore. Furthermore, the Saints have been generous to the wide receiver position. They're allowing 199 receiving yards per game to opposing wideouts. The Saints have allowed 10 players to go over this total in just 5 games. 8 of those were wide receivers. Saints have an excellent run defense. They're giving up only 275 yards on the entire season to running backs. That is the fewest yards allowed in the league. Seahawks are without Chris Carson, as we know. Alex Collins, the backup running back who is starting tonight, is banged up, coupled with the Saints being 5.5-point favorites, which should produce the type of game script we're looking to that will force the Seahawks to air the ball out. Yeah, I know there's some weather concerns. Geno Smith is obviously not the best QB in the world, but this number is too low. In my opinion, it still should have opened in the low 60s. This player as talented as DK, I think he's going to get a lot of targets tonight. I think he's going to have a big game.
No, I love it. So does Sean Arnold. Sean says Alex looked like Triple H developed a gambling addiction. The only thing, Sean, I didn't like about that, you didn't leave your Twitter handle. Every time you guys write something, leave your Twitter handle in there, because when we get to 500, I've got to have Twitter handles to give them out. Only 3 things you need to do: follow SportsLine, follow our YouTube page, and then leave your Twitter handle. That's all we're doing. Then 1,000, we're going to give away this beautiful T-shirt right here. And then 1,200, of course, is the Coach action figure. Let's pound that like button and do it right now, please. All right, see it. Coming over to you. You are an absolute prop beast. I don't know if you have any particular ones you're looking at before I suggest some. Are there any that you like?
Yeah, there are. And it's actually correlated with Alex's play, because I really like Geno Smith over 204.5 yards for a couple reasons. One is because the Saints really are much better against the run. It's going to force Geno to pass. And as good as this pass defense might end up being, like, for example, Geno throws a pick and the Saints immediately score. That's just going to imply softer coverage on the next drive and just another bite at the apple in terms of throwing it downfield in a negative game script. So especially when you look at this spread at 5.5, he's probably going to be in passing mode for more of the game than he'd want to be. And 204.5 is such a low number. Again, all the rain, the wind, the fact that he's Geno Smith, the fact that he does have to face, guys like Marshawn Lattimore, those are all built into the number, whether it's DK Metcalf or whether it's Geno Smith. So that's a really low number. And if the game script is negative for him, I see him hitting that early in the fourth quarter.
All right, very good. By the way, if you have any questions about any type of prop, please leave the number you have, like -115 or -120, because guys will tell you all the time that number really matters when they're giving you their feedback on what you like. Real quick, before I come to AB, let me come back to Alex, because we had a question on Metcalf over 22.5, longest reception for him, -120.
Yeah, I'd lean over, kind of similar to the argument I made last night. The same question was asked about Michael Pittman Jr. So it's not going to be favorable conditions to throwing deep passes. But with a player like DK and a player like Michael Pittman Jr., they both possess the ability to take a short route and break off a huge play. So I like it. I would prefer it more, though, if we had more favorable weather conditions where you had the added safety of a deep pass also being in the potential kind of breadbasket tonight. So you're kind of banking on DK taking a slant into a big gain, which he's clearly capable of, but you'd obviously love to have kind of the additional option of a pass being thrown down the field. And we saw last night, and we're going to see tonight, that the winds and the weather is going to impact those deep passes down the field. So lean, yes, don't love it enough to make it a play.
Love that analysis. Sometimes, we say it all the time, the best bets are the bets you don't make. AB, let me come to you, because we've heard Alex talk about Alex Collins. We've seen the game script. So with it being that he's a little bit busted up, and we don't know how serious it is, his number is 44.5. The under is -110. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I kind of like that under there. They're going to have options, and there's a good shot that they're playing from behind as well, and the run game might get taken away from them. So, yeah, if I had to lean anywhere, I'm going under.
Under on that. Okay, very good. By the way, that came from Kelsey. Kelsey not only is one of our best fans, she's really, really smart too. She always asks the right questions, so thank you for that. So we talked about Geno's over number. Austin wants to know, and I'll come back, Alex, to you. Jameis over 205 yards. Will the game script dictate over or under there?
Can I touch on Collins really quickly? I just want to piggyback.
Yeah, of course.
So I do like the under too, personally. I know Maestro is on the over. It is a low number. Collins is banged up coming into this game, but last week we saw DJ Dallas get a lot of playing time. He was really involved in the backfield. He had 5 targets, 5 receptions. He looked good. He's also healthy. I can also see this scenario being where the Saints are so stout up front. Like AB mentioned, the Seahawks might be forced to abandon the run, and he is their preferred receiving back. So he is going to be on the field in those situations. He's going to benefit if the Saints do, in fact, shut down the run, which they've done versus every other team this league this year. That being said, the number is low for Collins. He is going to get 10 to 12 attempts, so he is capable of going over, but I would caution against the play. I also lean under with Collins, but it is a low number, so be careful. Not an official play or anything like that. And then Winston at 205 yards was the question, Coach?
Yes.
So regarding Winston, he does not have any real viable receivers besides Kamara, who is going to get 20-plus carries and has been used primarily as a running back. I mean, obviously he's a running back, but he's a great receiver too, but they really have not been throwing the ball to him a ton. Marquez Callaway is a good wide receiver, but he's miscast as a number one receiver in this Saints offense. They are really missing Michael Thomas. Outside of Callaway and Kamara, they do not have any viable receiving options who can handle any sort of volume and be effective. So the number is very low for Jameis, but I do not like it at all. I'd be looking under before I'd be looking over at him.
Oh, I'm going to go under because what was it, I think it was the first 2 games, the first 3 games, you guys can help me out with this, where it was the first game where he was the first quarterback in NFL history to throw for 4 touchdowns and less than 150 yards.
5, I think, right? 5.
5. That's right, 5 touchdowns. That was against the Packers. So I'm going to play it live right now. Jameis under, because my man Alex is a rock star. Now, you mentioned Kamara. So, see, I'm going to come over to you because Tyler in the chat, he wants to start the conversation with Alvin Kamara. Let me give you all of his numbers, and you tell me if you like any of them, okay? His catch prop is 4.5. The over is -120. His receiving yards is 35.5. It might be up to 36 according to Tyler. That's around 120, 130. And then his rushing total is over 94.5, -105.
Wow, over 94.5. That's a pretty big number. Regrettably, that's the number I probably like the most. I can't really ensure. I know they're coming off a bye. They probably schemed up things for, especially with the lack of receivers that they do have even now. I mean, Traquan Smith he's off IR, but I mean, how much does he really add to that wide receiver corps? So I think I like the rushing prop. They should be able to rush, and I think that's what they're going to be counting on, and this plays into that Jameis Winston under prop. The pass attempts are just really low. Like last game, he actually had a decent amount of pass attempts, but most game scripts, it's just not going to dictate that he throws the ball a lot. And you can run on Seattle. And it's Alvin Kamara at the end of the day. I could absolutely see him rushing for over 90.5 yards.
All right. Alex, do you have any thoughts on any of these 3?
Yeah, I think I'm fully agree with Sia that the numbers seem very efficient. If I were inclined to look at Kamara, I would probably look at his combo prop, his combo receiving and rushing prop. I do anticipate him being the focal point of this offense. If you feel like you like Kamara and you have an edge or you anticipate him having a big game, I think his combo prop would offer more value because he's very likely, I mean, he is absolutely going to be the focal point of the Saints game plan, their offensive game plan. He's going to get a ton of touches. I could see him being more involved as a receiver. 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, he had 0 targets in the passing game. The following game before they went on bye, they made more of a concerted effort to get him involved in the passing game. He received 5 targets in that game, he received 8 targets in that game, had 5 catches. So I can see a scenario where he is more involved as a pass catcher tonight. So I think his combo prop is where I would look to find the most value with Kamara. All
right, 1 second. I'm getting text right now, and I refuse to do what they're telling me to do. I just won't do it. So I can't make this up. Everybody thinks I'm kidding around. So the bosses just texted me and said that M Squared called the bosses and said, I need to put in 2 official plays on the show, but Coach won't put them in for me because I'm not on the show. And I'm just not going to do that. This is my show. We're going to do what I want to do. And if I don't see your face, then you're not going to make a pick on the show. Let's pound that like button. If everybody hits the like button, we can get to 1,000, and then we can certainly get to 1,200 because new people are coming in all the time. So let's keep hitting that like button. I want to give this stuff away. Unlike M Squared picks, I'm not going to do it. Okay. So moving on. Speaking of attempts and completions, we're talking game script. Here are the numbers for Geno and for Winston. For the attempts, 26.5, and Geno Smith, 30.5, -108, -116. AB, let me come back to you.
All right, read those again to me. Those are attempts, correct?
Attempts, 26.5, 30.5, -108, -116.
And 26.5 is for Jameis?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, yeah. I'm actually going to go over on Jameis and under on Geno, even though that kind of goes against the game script here. The reason why is this. Again, we go back to the zone. And you look at what Jameis Winston has done against his zone defense in his career. His comp is around 65%. Last time he played Seattle, it was around 77% when he finished the game. And I think that him being aggressive, he will complete some passes, and it will open up things for Sean Payton in that offense, and they will throw more than we kind of think that they will, to where I could see Geno Smith starting out a little shaky and the Seahawks offense getting a little nervous about it and going conservative, because that's what they like to do. So I'm going to go over on Jameis here. One other note, speaking of the zone, because I just have to bring it in here too. Every single interception that Jameis Winston has thrown this season, 100% was against his own defense as well. So that's why I am on Jameis over half an interception tonight. Just going to put that out there. Yeah, he has success, but he gets aggressive, and it'll cost him one. Yeah.
I tell you what, yesterday we cashed. You have this gut feeling about interceptions that I really, really like. And unfortunately, and I'm coming to you, Alex, because I see you don't need to say something, but I'm getting some venom in the chat right now because they all want the M squared picks. Chad's going back to my coach and rock days. Call me a popcorn fart. That's people call me that all the time, so that doesn't faze me. All right, Alex, what do you have? Some on the attempts, or let me give you the completions too. 17.5, 18.5 for Geno.
Sorry, what?
Whoa.
Okay, yeah, I'll tell him. So I just got off the phone with the bosses, Noah Stanley, and you're at the edge here, coach. You got to give out this M square pick, or else you're not gonna there's not gonna be only one person on this show working at Chick-fil-A and Bass Pro Shops. So you got to give out this M squared pick. Or else you better hit up AB and see what the day shift is looking like.
All right, I'm gonna do it. People think we make this stuff up. I don't make this stuff up. I don't like the bosses. I don't like them. I don't like them. But apparently, Jeweler wants to continue to climb the ladder. AB's his boy. Everybody loves everybody but me. All right, here are the official plays from M Squared that he just sent in to the bosses to give to me. Here we go. So, Alex, you're gonna be very happy about this. DK Metcalf over 4.5 catches, -130. Official play. Correlated. Makes sense. Then Traquan Smith, over 25.5 receiving yards, -110. He would take it all the way up to 26.5 if you need to. So 2 official plays. DK Metcalf over 4.5 catches, and Traquan Smith over 25.5 receiving yards, -110. Let me be clear. This has nothing to do with M squared. It has everything to do with me and the bosses just not seeing eye to eye. Alex, were you done talking before the jeweler so rudely interrupted you? Were you done?
I'm never done talking.
No, that's true. We can go. And
the bosses may not like you, coach, but I've got your back. You know I love you, man.
Thank you. I'd be very careful. I'd be very careful if I were you, though. They love you. I wouldn't jump into my pool. But I do appreciate it. All right, now, so we see the DK over the catches there. Now, rushing yards. That's been a very, very popular prop that people like to play. So, Sia, let me come back to you. Rush yards. Jameis over 19.5. Geno over 14.5. Any thoughts on that?
I'm not going to bet them, but I like the unders on both of those. I'm just not interested in Jameis running around for one. So I really like the under on that one at 21.5 yards. As far as Geno Smith, he has a bit more athleticism, and with that defensive line and linebacking core getting a little bit healthier, that could flush Geno out of the pocket a little bit and could get him running. So if there was one I was going to take an over on, it would probably be Geno Smith, but the games he's played this year, he's tended to stay in the pocket. And I don't really see him deviating from that this week either.
Okay, very good. Eric, I don't think we have any teasers tonight or parlays. That's kind of Mikey's department. We got to stay on our lane. When we start doing things that aren't in our lane, that's when we get into trouble. That's Mikey's. The donkey parlay is his thing. That's his thing. Jimmy says Kamara over 127.5 total scrimmage yards. Alex, this is your specialty. You love those combo. We just hit it big with Derrick Henry in the Titans game. Your thoughts on this one?
Yeah. So out of Kamara's props, this would probably be my favorite present number, but I do think a lot of the value has kind of been sucked out of Kamara's numbers. The one prop that I did like that was originally available, this was a few days ago, was Kamara's rushing attempts under 23.5. That number has unfortunately come down to, I believe, 22.5 or 21.5, where I would not touch it. The difference between one rushing attempt is vastly different than between like a yard, for instance. If you're looking at like a receiving yardage prop compared to a rushing, it is a massive edge, one in either direction. So yeah, I don't love any of Kamara's present numbers. I would say though that if you are looking at Kamara, you feel like he's going to have a big game tonight, you are going to bet something on Kamara. The combo prop to me offers the most value out of all of his present props and present lines that you have access to right now.
Why do you think it is, now that props are so, and anybody can answer this, are so popular, why is it that it's the big names that no matter the line, no matter the number, if it's not for professionals like you guys, people just blindly bet the overs? Why do we think that is? On the Kamaras of the world, on the Tom Brady's of the world, all these big names, we just blindly bet the over. Alex, you got your thoughts on that?
I think from an entertainment standpoint, there's a lot of overlap and parallels, and I'm sure Sia can attest to this with DFS and with season-long fantasy. So when you own Kamara in your fantasy league or you have a stake of him in DFS or something, it makes the experience a lot more enjoyable when you're watching the game, a game you ordinarily wouldn't have potentially a lot of interest in because, you may be on the East Coast and you don't really care about the Saints and the Seahawks, but suddenly betting a Kamara prop, gives you something to root for in the game. He's going to be very involved in the game plan. So yeah, it's easy to root for. He's going to get a lot of touches, and yeah, it's just a fun sort of exercise.
And you feel more educated on the prop too. I mean, it's a lot harder to make a play on Traquan Smith when he's not in your fantasy lineup. So you don't really know what the ins and outs of Traquan Smith in terms of where he's lining up. Is he on the outside? Is he in the slot? Is he getting the slot corner? What's going, but it's so easy to predict volume with these kind of bigger names, DK Metcalf, Alvin Kamara. So I think that's part of it. And of course the over plays into that, right? Because of course everybody wants to bet the over. They don't want to be rooting against yards, against touchdowns. But by the way, for everybody listening, and I'm sure this has been said on this show before, the bookmakers know that, and they're giving you inflated lines almost 100% of the time when it comes to especially the big name players, because they know they're going to be taking bets on those guys regardless of the number they put up.
Yeah, one last thing I just want to touch on. This is really important. One of the most important things I can tell anyone who's interested in props and are taking props seriously, really enjoy betting on props. From a historical standpoint, props hit the under at close to a 60% clip. So exactly what Sia just said. The bookmakers are factoring in that people like playing those overs. So the numbers are often inflated. So there is a lot more value to be found, to be had in looking under.
Wow. One thing I don't want to do is look under AB's hat anymore. Leave that thing on, please. All right. Let's go to Thomas in the chat. I say we don't have a parlay. I say we don't have a teaser. My man handles it for me. How about this? AB, I want you to weigh in on this teaser. Seahawks up to 11.5, and then play the total up to 48, and then play the under. Do you like that?
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, there's nothing to complain about there. I absolutely love that. Yep.
I do too. Sia, your thoughts?
I totally agree, because the reality is no matter who has the lead here, or what the game script is, these are going to be relatively conservative game plans. So unless the defenses really fire off and get some short fields or some scores outright, I see, relatively conservative game scripts relative to other teams, which plays into that under. And plus 11 is a lot of points at home.
Can I give you a nugget real quick? Do you mind?
No, but go ahead.
All right, everyone, have a good one. These two teams have combined to play 11 first quarters this season. 9 of them, they didn't score a touchdown. Just could put that out there.
So what if we wanted to bet no touchdown in the first quarter? You would endorse that a little bit?
I wouldn't endorse it because weather can throw everything off, because defenses, that affects them too. But I'm just saying, yeah, 9 out of 11, they didn't score a touchdown.
All right. Marcos says, dang, they really did put Batista's arms on Coach's action figure. Marcos, you are dead to me. Okay, we are crossing the top of the hour. It's 8 o'clock on the East Coast, 5 o'clock in the Pacific. And, we have two very important things left to do in the next 15 minutes. The first thing, we've got a lot of new people joining the show right here and right now. Hit that like button for me. Let's get to 1,000. But those of you who did, thank you very much. We're at 500. And I have 5 winners. Here we go. Grab your paper, grab your pencil. Here are the winners of a year-long sub membership to SportsLine. At Omaha Poker okay. At CC Cal or at CCal02, at MBR I93, at S_car22, and at Plasma GT Prop. No worries. The jeweler will reach out to you on social media and give you all the details. If you want to be eligible, you can leave your Twitter handle in the comment section, or you can play our perfect parlay contest every single day on the morning show. Put a best bet right in the comment section. One of our cappers goes 2-0, or the gem or the AB3 hits, then you are eligible. All right. You know what we do at this time of every single show. We love it. It's our most fun bet of the entire night. So for those of you who are new, week 1, Van Jefferson, plus 4,000. Boom, first touchdown of the game. M-Squared gave it out. The very next night, my good-looking friend Sia, he says, Coach, I like Tyson Williams, plus 1,200. I think that's a pretty good bet. You're damn right it was. Boom, we banged that one too. So it's become a staple of the show, and it's the Van Jefferson Memorial first touchdown of the game bet, and it has to be at least plus 1,000 or over. Alex, you start the picks. Let's go.
Let me just start off by saying I have probably lost a cumulative 30 hours of sleep in the past 7 or 8 weeks because I have yet to hit this prop. It eats me alive that Sia and M-Squared have just taken all the glory, and me and AB are just sitting here wishing we're throwing everything at the wall. We're going square, we're going chalk, we're going contrarian. Nothing is working. It is killing me. This is not a lack of effort. I assure you of that. I'm going to hit this, and I'm going to hit it big, and hopefully tonight's the night. So, yeah, my guy is DJ Dallas at plus 3,400. This I like to call an M-Square special because I think he would like this one too. DJ handled 5 targets last week. He turned it into 5 receptions, 33 yards. We know Chris Carson isn't playing. We know Alex Collins is banged up. I talked about how good the Saints' rush defense is, how Collins is injured. He's very likely to be somewhat ineffective tonight. I'm expecting DJ Dallas's role to grow in this offense. I'm expecting him to be out there on obvious passing downs. Geno Smith's comfortable throwing to his running backs. I think the value's there at plus 3,400. We're going DJ Dallas.
I love that play. I just put it in live as you were giving it because I know once you give it out, it'll drop by 300. All right, see ya. You are one of the few, as Alex just so poetically complained about, that has hit this prop this year. So talk to me.
Well, I mean, if we're being more specific, Coach, twice, Donald Parham at 35 to 1 or 40 to 1. Yeah, right. It's hard to forget. Speaking of tight ends, they seem to be, have a knack for these first touchdown props on nighttime games. So there's a guy that's been sort of quiet on Seattle. He's an athletic freak, 6'3", I believe 240, 27 years old. Seahawks got him this offseason. But a few games ago or a few weeks ago, he got COVID. So he kind of was sort of just not around. And then last game, he only had a few targets, caught 2 of them. Well, I think he's going to be even more integrated into the offense. And to a backup QB, it is really valuable to have a big target like Gerald Everett to throw to. So I absolutely think Gerald Everett is in play just in general. But I think he's definitely in play as a first touchdown scorer at plus 2,500. Big target for an erratic QB. Give me some of that.
Boy, I just got that in too. Boy, my goodness. This is as much fun for me to try to get them in when you give them as it is to play it myself. All right, AB, you got a look on your face like tonight could be your night.
Yeah, I feel like it is. Look, now let's understand who these two teams are in terms of their first touchdowns throughout the season, okay? So if you take a look at the New Orleans Saints, all right, 4 out of 5 of their first touchdowns have been a pass, mostly Alvin Kamara, okay? You look at the Seahawks, 5 of their 6 first touchdowns in games have been a pass, and 5 of those 6 were either Tyler Lockett or DK Metcalf. The only two that were runs were Alex Collins from the Seahawks and Jameis Winston himself in week 2 on the run as well. But Sia brought up a really good point, a very good point. Big tight ends that can catch. I am going to go with Juwan Johnson on the Saints side because I think that there could be some issues in the red zone, like we talked about earlier. And I think that you're going to have a defense that floods out all over Alvin Kamara, 2 different guys trying to spy him. And Juwan Johnson standing there in the corner all by himself. So, yeah, give me Double J. Let's go.
Alex, I got 2 things to say about what AB just said right there. First and foremost, this is the first time I've had anybody make a pick based off of their showdown and their pick for the game because they want it to happen, not because they think it's going to happen. Number 2, you made me think that maybe I have been shortchanging myself. Maybe I need to jump into the deep end. Maybe I need to make a pick as well on this show. Sia, what do you think?
Oh, yeah. I mean, how did it take you this long to come to that conclusion? Let's go.
I have no idea. That's a very good question.
I'm getting my phone out to tail this bet right now.
All right. Now, there's one name that every time that we've been talking about it this year, this name comes up, and it's plus 1,500. Write it down, and I'm telling you right now, you mark my words, if this hits tonight, you will never hear the end of it from me. I'm telling you that right now. Freddie Swaim, Alex, put it in. Freddie Swaim, my first touchdown of the game, plus 1,500. Lock it in.
Let's roll, Coach. Let's roll.
I feel good. I feel included. I feel included now.
Coach, in some books, it's as high as 25-1, including mine, which shall remain nameless. So here we go. Carry on.
I love how we all have different books, but we're not allowed to say what they are. That book or that book. See, I'm giving value when I don't even know I'm giving value. That's how good my picks are sometimes. You guys aren't the only ones that can throw them out there. I'm giving a full $1 of value, and I don't even know it. All right, so we've only got 8 minutes left, and we have a lot of new people that come in at the top of the show, and they tell us all the time, give me your picks. I didn't get them at like 7:40. So real quick, AB, I know you don't have an official pick, but I thought you had really good analysis on the game for the new people that came in.
Yeah, I do have one official pick. It's Jameis Winston over half an interception. So essentially he just has to throw one. And the reason being is that he gets very aggressive and has a nice, background in terms of throwing against zone defenses. The Seahawks run zone defense 80% of the clip this year, 3rd most in the NFL. However, 100% of Jameis Winston's interceptions this season have come against a zone defense. So give me that one, Jameis Winston over half an interception.
Oh, I banged that one early. I love that one from you. And I also, I love Alex's. Re-give it to the people who don't have it yet.
Yes, sir. We've got DK Metcalf over 57.5 receiving yards. We've seen DK have at least 58 receiving yards in 5 of 6 games to start the season. His season low has been just 53 yards. He's also had at least 58 receiving yards in both games with Geno Smith behind center. DK, to me, looks like the only real wide receiver that Geno is comfortable throwing the ball to. They actually have some chemistry. I have DK projected for 85 receiving yards, which is a huge edge. That does not mean you play him up to 85 receiving yards for the record. The Saints have been very generous to opposing wide receivers. They're allowing 199 yards to the position per game. Saints have allowed 10 players to go over this total in 5 games, including 8 opposing wide receivers. The Saints also have an excellent run defense. They've given up only 275 yards on the ground to opposing running backs this season. That is an incredible number. The Seahawks are without Chris Carson. Alex Collins is banged up tonight, coupled with the Saints being 5.5-point favorites that we've been talking about. I believe this is the type of game script where that'll force the Seahawks to throw the ball a lot, and DK will be the biggest beneficiary of that. There are some weather concerns. Geno Smith is obviously not the best quarterback, but yeah, I think a player of DK's talent can get off on anyone, including the Saints secondary, which has been vulnerable. I love this prop. DK Metcalf over 57.5 receiving yards.
Sia, I'm gonna go flip side because Sia, did you have a? I can't remember. Did you have a play in the game?
I did. It was, and it's highly correlated with Alex's, and it's the it's over 204.5 yards. Geno Smith passing.
Oh, I banged that. I do want to ask you, Sia. We're talking about DK Metcalf, the one receiver we haven't even mentioned, and the juice is high. Tyler Lockett, over 3.5 catches, but it's minus 190. Your thoughts on that, Sia?
I mean, I would never take it minus 190. If it was Russell Wilson, it'd be an easy play. I'd even play it at minus 190. But I don't know where Geno Smith is with his connection with Tyler Lockett. So it's just really hard for me to say under or over on that one. I'm way more inclined to look at DK Metcalf. I think Geno's going to be looking, I don't know that Geno anticipates super well, which I think with the type of routes that Tyler Lockett runs, you're having to do that a little bit more than you would like a DK Metcalf or a big target like a Gerald Everett or a back coming out of the backfield. So with that in mind, I just feel more comfortable with DK and just to stay away from Lockett. All
right, very good. I wish I would have asked you that before I put my bet in. All right, in the chat, somebody wants to know Mikey's second play. So here are his 2 official plays as well, and we're putting the recap up on the screen. Leave it there, Jeweler, until I give these 2 plays so everybody can get them in. You have 4 official minutes to get these plays in. DK over 4.5 catches, minus 130, and Traquan Smith over 25.5 receiving yards. He would play it all the way up to 26.5. And those are all of our plays for the game tonight. So we got you set. As we like to say, we can only lead you to the water, but you have to drink. All right. It is that time of the show. I like to let everybody on the show have a 30-second take on what they're most looking forward to. Alex, start us off.
Yeah, I am most looking forward to, say, what time is it now on the East Coast? It is about to be 5:15, so I guess that put us at about 8:15 or 8:30 Pacific Standard Time when I get an alert on my phone that we just hit a Venmo alert from AB because he just sent you and I money, Coach. So that's what I'm most looking forward to tonight.
Oh, that's the greatest take we've had yet. See ya. Talk to me.
I'd really love for Seattle to be relevant when Russell Wilson comes back. And I'm hoping that the 12th man really takes some control here against a quarterback that might be vulnerable to it. So I'm looking for an exciting game that the Seahawks will cover, but more importantly, that the Seahawks might win outright because of that 12th man.
I'm thinking about a little money line bet myself. AB, bring us home.
Yep, I want everybody to pay attention to the red zone tonight. That is literally where this game is going to be won or lost. The Saints have scored a touchdown on 93% of their red zone trips this season. The Seahawks, 75% of their red zone trips this season. So whichever offense is putting it in the end zone and whichever defense is forcing 1 to 2 stops, pay attention. That's where your winner will come tonight.
Great stuff, as always, man. I love this show so freaking much. Don't forget, our World Series special is in your feed right now. Follow our YouTube channel. You're watching us. Just hit the subscribe button. Turn on the notifications. We do so much content, but you got to be notified when it's live in your feed. Don't forget, tomorrow, Week 8 already here. Our mega Week 8 NFL preview with RJ White, Maddie. Guys, I mean, it's such a great hour. You do not want to miss that and get a head start on Week 8. Don't forget, Thursday this week, Packers, Cardinals, Devontae Adams, COVID. We'll have a full hour about that on Thursday night, and we cannot wait. All right, there's only one thing left to do. I'm going to warm up my Batista arms and tell you, you've got your marching orders. Let's take all of these Monday Night Football tickets straight to the pay window for my man Alex, for AB, for Sia, the best-looking one on the show, and, of course, the jeweler who puts it all together here at the brand. I am the coach. Tell your friends, there's only one brand that you need. We like to call it the Early Edge. Good luck.